Hi, I'm Katie Kempner, and we're here at the 3% Conference, and right now I'm talking with Doug Melville, who is the Chief Diversity Officer at TBWA North America. Welcome.
Thank you for having me here. It is a pleasure. We are
good,
on
high
site right
energy.
now. We're in a studio.
We're in a studio.
We don't know where this is. It could be anywhere.
It could be anywhere.
Yep.
It could be my living room.
It's a sound stage at a to-be-determined location.
But it's not to be determined. We're at the 3% Conference.
Yes, I love it. I'm so excited.
Which probably, I would imagine diversity, you're like the superstar here, right? It's all about diversity.
Well, it's very exciting. This is my first year attending, so there was some scheduling the last few years where I couldn't attend, but I'm very excited. It was local in New York. We got a great presence from our New York office, and we actually had the pleasure of having most of our offices across the United States send somebody. So we have some people here from Integer, and we have some people from our Media Arts Lab, Chiat Day LA, Chiat Day New York. There's folks here from GSD&M, then you got BBDO, DDB, Omnicom. It's just so exciting. We have the whole network here. We're one big happy family.
So tell me why you think this conference is important. I know you just spoke, and also you have so many people here. Why?
Well, when you look at diversity, it's a holistic approach, and everyone defines diversity different. It's really a lens that you see the world through. So for some people it's economic, for some people it's location, for some people it's ethnicity, religion, race, creed, culture. But the reality of the situation is we have to embrace all the different forms of difference and all the people that are underrepresented within our workforce. And then we have to encourage and inspire people within those groups that they could feel welcome and at home at an advertising agency on Madison Ave or wherever they choose to reside. So it's very important that we make a presence, speak and communicate with people, encourage them to be part of our TBWA family, but then also encourage them to stay, encourage them to grow. So conferences like this allow you to really get a lot of different perspectives and share and talk and chat with like-minded people to help grow each of our agencies' diversity and difference, really.
So diversity is a catchphrase, and as you're saying, it means so many different things that in the advertising industry especially is used so much because it isn't very diverse the way it should be. Why do you think that is, and what is TBWA doing about that?
Well, if you really look at historically throughout the United States of America, okay, we became a country in 1776, and then you're going to say women got the right to vote in 1920. So 1965, the Equal Rights Act was passed. So gay marriage was just passed, in the last 12 months. So really, if you look at where these benchmarks are, while we've come very far, there really hasn't been, eons and eons of generations to really bear the fruit of this, freedom and right to vote and equal rights. So everybody is moving at a different pace in our society, and it's important because we make the creative messages, though. We make the images, we make the media art that is on, TVs and your third screen and all this, that it's very important that we have a diverse group of people making the messages and also a diverse group of people representing those groups in our messages for our clients. So we see that change is happening. We see that more diversity officers are being hired and created. Airbnb, YouTube, Dropbox. I can go on. Harvard just hired one. I see the applications, I see the jobs, and I go, okay, this is becoming a real movement where a lot of people are putting a lot of perspectives in to help diversify and create new and exciting workforces that are really built around creativity. So it all goes back to creativity. That's the core here. That's what we're really all about. How can we create the best message with the most input from the most groups? And what we're doing at TBWA about it is, first of all, they created this job, 2012. So they created the job of Chief Diversity Officer, which was exciting. It was exciting because I got the job.
You got it. No.
And I got to help, really mold it and shape it. And that was, they did a research project, what if diversity was a client? So if diversity actually came to the doors at TBWA through a pitch consultant and actually got the opportunity to get an advertising agency, what would actually happen? They then took together strategic planners, creative directors, copywriters, art directors, production, the entire ecosystem of the agency, and put a client team on diversity and came up with a roadmap. What would we actually do? And the result of that was create a job, Chief Diversity Officer, with 3 different pillars. The first is what can we do in our creative supply chain? So when we make a commercial, we hire out casting, set design, director, producer, photographer, translation services, post effects, storyboarding, and we hire out all these vendors. So the first thing was we need to make sure we hire more women-owned, operated, and controlled business and more diverse entrepreneurs. So that was very important. The second part was how can we work with all of our heads of HR to really look inside and say, what can we do to expand our pool that we're picking from? How can I assist you? How can I be of service to you, heads of HR around the United States, and send candidates and attend events and put them in a system where they can win? And then the third part was how can we support organizations like AdColor, 3%? How can we buy tables? How can we have speaker series in the office? How can we have more town halls? How can we create a cultural environment where people learn and grow and also have the chance to experience different things? So if all three of those things are done properly, you can create a successful diversity program. They handed me the book and said, go get started and do it.
And so that's what you've been focusing on.
That is literally what happened on my first day of work.
And how's it going?
It's really fun. I love it. It's really good. So we've done really well. We just this year hit $100 million with women-owned businesses. So this was a statistic that I have been working on and working with our creatives and producers on hiring businesses that are owned, operated, and controlled by female entrepreneurs. And when we passed the $100 million mark, it was so exciting because I talked to the business owners and they go, I worked in advertising, but I wanted to start a casting company, a production company. I had a family and I knew I wanted to stay in the business, but I wanted to have more control. So we're actually empowering the people that started out in our industry that are now entrepreneurs, just like all of the names of the agencies that we work for. They're putting their names on the wall and creating companies that we now hire. So that to me was a hugely personal moment. I used to have my own business and I started businesses for other people. And I really know that getting those big B2B business accounts or those opportunities to be on the scene, hold the camera, give the proofs is really what it's all about. So that was a huge accomplishment. My favorite part of my job so far has really been, empowering these business owners.
So let me ask you, so one of the things is recruiting and then it's retaining. And here at the 3% conference, a lot of it has to do with how can you retain women? How will women stay in this business?
Yeah.
Is that, I'm sure that's something you're focusing on. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, and that's a big part of it because we're getting a great pool at the first year, up to 5 years, 7 years. But then when you really get to the reality of CEO and executive team of each agency office, you have to say, we have to do a better job of getting more representation up there. So women that work at the agency, or even if it's LGBT, if it's diversity, whatever is at the agency that makes your agency special needs to also have that representation at the top. So we created a program that we launched on International Women's Day, and we put out a notice to all of our offices globally, okay? So 323 offices in 97 countries, and we said, hey, let's look at who's on the top tier of executive team management, and let's actually count it, and let's actually see how we can know a number and then move to grow the number that is represented up there. So we created Take the Lead, which is a program where we put out the call to all of our agency offices, and we're going to increase that number by 20% by the year 2020. And we're going to really work and say the top decision makers at each office, how can we go in there and how can we get more people there to inspire middle management, to inspire the entry-level employee to say, hey, I see there's a female CEO in my office. I see where I can aspire to. I have someone up there who can throw me a rope and be a mentor when I need that. And that's somewhere that I want to stay in, an organization I want to be a part of.
That's fantastic. So for the women,
are these answers too long?
No, I think they're terrific.
Okay. I'm like, these answers are really.
Your answers are great. So, but I have one more question for you. So for women young women and young guys that are walking around here today, that are trying to figure out their career path or potential trajectory, what would you say to them?
I would say the first thing you need to do is do something that you love, number one. Number two is if you're in the arts. I hear all the time one thing from people. Advertising industry doesn't pay as much as blank. insert whatever industry that you you feel is really pulling you away. And my reply to them is, you are an artist for a living. We are creating media art. So this is the best paying job as an artist that you're gonna get. You get to work with other artists, you get to work on amazing equipment in the heart of Madison Avenue with other artists creating art for the largest brands in America and the world. This is really a dream for many people. Now, if you want to not do art anymore and you've had just about enough of it and you want to do finance or a myriad of other industries that you can go into, then that you can also do that too. But if you want to be in this artistic environment and get left and right brain nourishment, this is really the place to be, and this is the place that you can call home and live a great career here. That's what I would tell them.
That sounds like great advice. Doug, it's so nice to talk with you.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure to talk to you too.
Thank you.
Thank you all.